This is why the US and China are watching India. Here's something most Indians don't like to hear. For decades, the world didn't take India seriously. Too slow, too chaotic, too poor to lead. But now, that narrative is breaking. In 2025, while China stumbles and US tariffs disrupt global trade, India is rising, and rising fast. The economy is booming, foreign powers are realigning, and both Washington and Beijing are paying very close attention. This isn't just another growth story. This is a strategic shift, and India is at the center of it. This is why the US and China are watching India. Segment 1. India economic growth amid global uncertainty. In a world teetering on recession, India is defying gravity. The IMF now projects India's economy will grow 6.2% in 2025, the highest among all major economies. Inflation, controlled, investment, surging. And earlier this year, India officially overtook Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy, with a GDP of $4.19 trillion. While China's growth slows and Western economies stagnate, India is pulling ahead quietly but steadily. Its secret, a massive domestic market, stable democracy, digital infrastructure, and the world's youngest workforce. And the result? Global corporations are shifting their bets, moving supply chains, money, and tech from elsewhere, straight into India. This isn't just about economics. It's about credibility, and India in 2025 has earned it. Segment 2. India's strategic alliances and global influence. Power isn't just about GDP, it's about who listens when you speak. And in 2025, more countries are listening to India. It's leading global conversations, not just attending them. From G20 summits to BRICS realignments, India is shaping rules, not just following them. The US sees India as the cornerstone of its Indo-Pacific strategy, a democratic counterweight to Chinese expansion. Washington is deepening defense, tech, and energy ties, joint military drills, strategic tech sharing, intelligence cooperation, not as a charity, but as a necessity. China, meanwhile, is watching cautiously. India's push to expand the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor is a direct challenge to Beijing's Belt and Road. It's subtle, it's strategic, and it's working. India's foreign policy is no longer about survival. It's about influence, and both Washington and Beijing know it. Segment 3. India technological advancements and digital leadership. If the 20th century ran on oil, the 21st runs on data, and India is ready. With over 1.3 billion people digitally connected, India now runs the largest biometric ID system in the world. Its digital payment systems process more transactions than the US, China, and Europe combined. And this isn't just for show. India is exporting its digital public infrastructure to countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. For the first time, the world isn't buying Silicon Valley or Shenzhen by default. It's looking at New Delhi. Global tech firms, from Microsoft to Nvidia, are pouring billions into Indian AI labs, data centers, and semiconductor fabs. And while China is being hit with sanctions and the US tightens controls, India is being welcomed as a neutral innovator. Tech isn't just transforming India's economy, it's transforming India's role in the global order. Segment 4. The US tariffs and the global ripple effect on India. In 2025, President Trump launched another wave of America First tariffs, this time targeting China, Vietnam, and parts of ASEAN. Electronics, machinery, pharmaceuticals, billions of dollars in trade suddenly under pressure. Global markets panicked, supply chains scrambled. But one country emerged as the unexpected winner: India. Most Indian sectors were spared from new tariffs, a calculated move by Washington to reward a trusted partner and reduce dependence on China. The result? Major manufacturers shifted production to India. Tech giants rerouted investments. India's export orders in electronics and generics spiked. While others were dodging tariffs, India was absorbing demand. This wasn't luck. It was positioning. Years of reforms, diplomacy, and neutral alignment now paying off. And in both Beijing and DC, that reality has not gone unnoticed. Segment 5. India defense capabilities and regional security. India isn't just buying defense power, it's building it. In 2025, India increased its defense budget by 8%, with a sharp focus on self-reliance. And it's showing results. India now produces its own fighter jets like the Tejas, ballistic missiles like Agni-V, light tanks, drones, and even aircraft carriers made in Indian shipyards. From HAL to DRDO, the country's defense sector is growing, not just to protect its borders, but to export to friendly nations across Africa and Southeast Asia. The message? India is not just a security consumer, it's becoming a security provider, and both the US and China are watching closely. For Washington, it means a partner that can share responsibility in the Indo-Pacific. For Beijing, it means more resistance, not just diplomatically, but strategically positioned and armed. India's assertiveness isn't about starting conflict, it's about deterring one and making sure no one underestimates its capabilities ever again. Segment 6, India Energy and Environmental Leadership. While the West talks climate, India balances reality and reform. It's still one of the world's fastest growing energy consumers, but it's also doubling down on renewables, with record solar and wind installations in 2025 and a pledge to reach net zero by 2070. But here's what really caught the world's attention. India is now the largest buyer of Russian oil. Even as Europe imposes sanctions and the West retreats, India has leveraged discounted Russian crude, not just to power its economy, but to keep inflation in check while others scramble. It's controversial, it's strategic, and it's working. Meanwhile, India's green energy diplomacy is expanding, forming critical minerals deals with Chile, Argentina, and Namibia to secure lithium and rare earths. The US sees a partner in energy transition. China sees a competitor in resource diplomacy. India's message is clear. It won't sacrifice growth for applause. It will lead on its own terms. Segment 7. India Cultural Diplomacy and Soft Power. Power isn't always military or economic. Sometimes it's cultural. And in 2025, India is mastering that too. From Bollywood films streaming globally to Indian cuisine featured at G20 banquets, New Delhi is telling the world, we are not just a country, we are a civilization. That soft power extends into diplomacy. India recently welcomed Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, now chair of ASEAN, in a high-profile visit that emphasized Southeast Asia's importance in India's Act East strategy. Days later, US Vice President JD made a surprise stop in Delhi, reinforcing India's growing value to Washington as a stable anchor in an unpredictable region. And yes, even Iran sent a formal envoy, marking the first high-level diplomatic visit since border tensions in early 2024. India hosted them all, not with fanfare, but with quiet confidence. Because in 2025, India doesn't need to prove it belongs at the table. It sets the table. Watch next on why India hates Pakistan so much. You will never believe it.